How's it going, everybody? I'm the BTC Reaper. My goal on this channel is to teach you how to reap the rewards of trading when the price is going up or down. Bitcoin network overwhelmed by 390,000 unconfirmed transactions and surging fees. In just under 2 weeks, the number of unconfirmed transactions on the Bitcoin network has skyrocketed from 134,000 to over 390,000, causing a bottleneck in the meme pool. The surge in unconfirmed transactions has resulted in a staggering 343% increase in transaction fees. This is mainly due to the BRC20 tokens that have flooded the network, as there's 13,000, well over 13,000 BRC20 tokens, so it'll take about 1.2 days of mining transactions to even get all these transactions cleared up. And that'd be given if we didn't have any new transactions. So this is mainly clogging up the network if you're considering any networking or financial transactions going through. If you wanted to run a banking network on Bitcoin, this would definitely be a problem for it. That's why Binance had to pause withdrawals. Top think tank warns insolvent banks lurking in the system as 200 US lenders face risks. 2,000, that'd be awful. Analysts at the Hoover Institution think tank have specifically highlighted that several US banks are already facing losses, and that this has mainly contributed to the hikes in inflation rates. Those are causing these banks not to have quite as good of a margin as they used to, because now they have to pay back a higher rate at their loans, and if they were at a fixed rate loan, then they can't hike it up on the customer, so they had to eat the difference. And there's about a $2 trillion hole in the banking sector because of this and because of fractional banking. So, onto the charts. Bitcoin market cap is starting to kind of cool off here. You can see on the daily we are getting a pretty big red candle. RSI is pointing down, stochastics diverging away. Our momentum wants to get a green dot, so that's kind of counter to everything else. Money flow's coming out, and our VWAP's pretty flat. Over on our altcoins, our stochastic wants to run up, RSI wants to hold its ground and try and bounce. Money flow's trying to come up, VWAP's heading down though. Our momentum did have a red dot, but we could curl up and invalidate with a green dot. So, we may finally see that rollover from Bitcoin into our altcoins. We are kind of breaking away from this up channel that we had. We got rejected by that value area high, created that tweezer tops, so now it's likely we'll start to roll. Stochastic's starting to roll over, RSI is pointing down, momentum has a red dot. Money flow wants to kind of hold its ground, but that's going to be hard for it to do if we don't get a decent push up. Our VWAP's heading down. We also have a long upper shadow candle, which shows that buyers tried to push up, but they did not succeed, and the sellers managed to suppress us back into this golden pocket. Over on the 4 hour, you can kind of see that buyer-seller action a little better there. Our RSI is kind of falling, stochastic's starting to fall with a bearish cross, money flow is heading out, momentum's starting to diverge away pretty strongly, kind of fluctuating there, but it is trying to print a red dot, and our VWAP's trying to head down as well. So that's a 4 hour kind of diverging. Usually you'll see like the lower time frames flicker around, but not the higher time frames as much, so that's not too good of a sign for us. Stochastic's starting to push down pretty hard, RSI is starting to fall, money flow is in the red, so it is bearish, VWAP's heading down kind of sharp, our money flow is heading down about the same rate as our VWAP. Over on the 1 hour, our stochastic's almost oversold, so we almost have no strength in our stochastic. RSI is heading down, money flow rejected crossing bullish, our VWAP rejected crossing bullish, and overall they're both heading down. Our momentum wants to try and curl up, but that might take a few candles. So we might get a little bit of a bounce off this support if we make it to it, and then get a little bit of a bounce and maybe a retracement afterwards. Over on futures, we do have a big gap up, so we could fill this gap down here. Maybe fill that 20k gap and then shoot back up, or fill this gap and then bounce back up right after. Over on graph, over on the daily, we did fall away pretty hard yesterday. We're trying to get a little bit of a bounce here. Stochastic's trying to curl a little bit, but overall it's falling still. RSI is trying to head upwards. Money flow is trying to push into the bullish territory. VWAP is struggling to be bearish, so we are getting some conflicting signs for any bearish momentum. Our momentum wave is coming down though, so everything else looks like it could reverse soon, but that momentum wave doesn't quite look like it's ready yet. Our stochastic on the 4-hour looks like we could get a bearish cross. RSI could push up. Money flow overall is coming out. VWAP's heading down. Momentum's starting to curl away, so our momentum could reject here. Over on the 2-hour, stochastic's trying to cross up and push a little higher. RSI's trying to curl up, so we could get a little bit of a bounce off this Fibonacci level. Our VWAP's trying to push bullish. Our momentum's trying to curl and go bullish. It does have a green dot that could confirm. And our money flow is trying to curl up. So even though our money flow is well into the bearish zone, we could get a bit of a bounce here. Over on the 1-hour, our stochastic overall is falling. Could get a bearish cross, so that's not too good for that 2-hour cross. 2-hour run-up possibility. The RSI is trying to run up. Money flow did cross bullish, so if that can continue, that could help save our other time frames. So the stochastic hopefully can stair step up. Our momentum's trying to get a green dot and curl up. So we are looking like we could get some push up here if we continue these green candles. Don't have very many right now, but we would need to keep going. If we start to waver here, it's likely we could start to feel lower resistances on some of these altcoins. RSI is kind of wavering away here on Anchor. Stochastic's heading down, kind of wants to cross, kind of how graph is set up. Money flow is in the bearish territory, trying to head up. Our VWAP is in the bearish territory, just broke into it, but very weakly. Our momentum had a red dot that confirmed yesterday, but it's not really getting too much of a push down, so if we get a green dot or a green candle tomorrow, that could help push us forward. Over on the 4-hour, our stochastic is trying to run up. RSI is kind of flat though. Money flows well into the bearish territory and rejected crossing a little while ago. VWAP's very weak in the bullish territory, so it's not very strong. Our momentum does want to come up, but it's not really going up very strongly. Over on the 2-hour here, stochastic wants to kind of curl up. RSI wants to push up. Money flow overall is heading away from that neutral zone after being rejected, but it is trying to come up. VWAP's trying to come back into the bullish territory, but our momentum looks like we are going to reject away as we have a red dot that could push us down. So that could kind of suppress us here. This is like a little bit of a... keep hitting the wrong key. This is a little bit of like a rising wedge, and rising wedges are bearish patterns that could break us down. Stochastic's starting to kind of curl here. RSI is starting to curl. Our VWAP wants to cross bullish. Our money flow wants to go bullish. Our momentum is trying to get a green dot that could help push us up, but if everything else rejects this bullish territory, we could start to waver here. Over on XRP, we're approaching the bottom of our flag again, so it's likely we could get a bounce, but we have touched the top 2 or 3 times with these wicks, depending on how you want to look at it, so it could be a risky move. Stochastic's starting to fall, RSI is starting to fall, money flow is getting close to breaking bearish, so our trend might start to be bearish in this flag where before it was bullish, so another reason it would be a little more risky. Our momentum is trying to come up, but we do have a red dot that invalidated the green dot, so that isn't too good for us either. Over on the 4-hour, our money flow is well into the bearish territory and overall heading down. VWAP is heading down pretty strongly and our momentum's rejecting away. Stochastic has a bearish cross and our RSI is falling. So not too strong on the 4-hour either. Over on the 2-hour here, Stochastic's heading down very aggressively. RSI is starting to lose ground. Our money flow rejected crossing bullish. Our VWAP's heading down pretty strongly and our momentum's heading down pretty strongly, so the 2-hour is really not too good. We are setting up some strong rejections here. And we do have that confirmed on the 1-hour, 2-hour, 4-hour, and daily, so I can't stress enough how risky this is right now. RSI is starting to fall, stochastic starting to fall, money flow is rejecting away, VWAP's kind of flat under this neutral zone, and our momentum looks like we could kind of start to curl. If this 1 hour can start to get some green and start to get a bullish trend, that would be good for us, but it's looking like we could get a breakout sometime soon. On the 1 hour, we do have 3 touches to the top. Usually when you get 3 touches to the top, you'll break, but the 4 hour would be a little stronger. On the 4 hour, we do technically have 3 touches to the top too, so not too strong here, and we may start to fall if money starts to leach out. So last but not least, we have algo here. Not really much going on. Stochastic's pretty flat, RSI is pretty flat, money flow is kind of trying to head up, VWAP's rejecting down, our momentum could set up a red dot, so we may push further down. RSI is trying to push up, stochastic's trying to curl up, money flow is trying to curl up, and our momentum's trying to reject a red dot, so if that leads into the daily, that would be good for us and could set us up to kind of invalidate that bearish push. Momentum's trying to set higher lows even though price is kind of flat, so that is good for us. Our money flow is rejecting away from the neutral zone pretty aggressively. VWAP's trying to go into the bullish territory. Our stochastic wants to make a bullish cross, and our RSI is trying to push up on the 2 hour. And finally, on the 1 hour, RSI is trying to head up, stochastic's trying to head up, our VWAP's trying to head up pretty sharply, and our momentum's trying to head up pretty sharply with a green dot, but our money flow overall is coming out. So we're going to want to see this money flow start to turn back up and some good momentum to come out of that. Otherwise, we could see some further downside like I mentioned yesterday. Thank you for watching tonight's video. I hope you have a great night.